I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So, let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
Thanks, Cody. All right, guys. Listen, we have to play it. We get paid to play it. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer.
No, I just made the thanks, Cody.
I don't know. I don't know how to do it. There's no easy transition in or out. It's awkward.
Yeah.
They tell us we have to do it. Go
ahead.
Sorry about that, guys. All right. Kevin Stefanski did something against the Dolphins that I'm not sure we've ever actually seen implemented as frequently as he did against Miami. Do you guys even know the splits of the offensive line in terms of their snap counts? At right tackle, at left tackle in particular.
What, he rotate?
Yes. Leviston and Cornelius Lucas split almost 50-50 snaps at right tackle. Cornelius Lucas played 27 snaps. That was 47%. KT Leviston played 30 snaps. That was 53%.
Who played left tackle? I don't even remember.
Cam Robinson played 100 snaps.
I don't even pay attention to it.
So Cam Robinson.
For what?
100% left tackle, right tackle, Leviston, and Lucas split nearly 50-50. 53 for Leviston, 47 for Lucas. In their pass rush productivity, in terms of stopping Miami, Leviston, 14 pass block snaps, allowed 1 pressure and no sacks. Cornelius Lucas, not as good, but arguably his best game of the season still. 9 pass block snaps, 2 pressures, 1 sack. In totality, between the two, in 23 pass rush snaps, they allowed 3 pressures. At the end of the day, I don't think either of these two are particularly good. But Dustin and Tyvis, I want to start with you guys on this one.
That's being complimentary. Both of them stink.
But they were serviceable at a minimum against Miami.
Is 2 pressures and a sack on 9 plays serviceable? I mean, I guess.
Comparatively to what he had been in the previous games, it is. So, Ty, I'll start with you, and we go around the horn. Dustin, you chime in next. Is rotating tackles like that sustainable at all? And could it bring out the best in a guy like Leviston and Lucas when they're only out there for 50% of the snaps? Or is that a one game blip that happened to work against Miami but could be a terrible decision against the team with a better pass rush?
They better never do that again. The weather conditions was the only reason they was able to do that. If they do this against another team, it's not going to work. It's just not, because it messes up the chemistry of the rest of the offensive
rhythm,
line.
all the above. You can't do that.
That's not going to work. The only reason they was able to do this because they knew they was going to run the ball 100 times in this game and not pass it that much. They do this, and it's just not. And then on top of that, you kind of you showing your hand, because if you putting Leviston in, that means he's better at a pass blocker. So if I'm a DN and I see Leviston, I'm thinking it's going to be a pass. If I see Cornelius Lucas and I know he's better at the run, then I know it's going to be a run. So you kind of tipping your hand on that, and you can't give these defenses any keys and things like that. So that's not something that I would do moving forward. I think that was a one-off.
Totally agree. It's not sustainable. It's something you can probably get away with in a game like that because of the one-dimensional offense. But overall, no. Those guys they'll never have a graphic on this show again.
Well, if they are, it would be much worse.
I had to find, it took me a lot of time to find a picture of them.
What I don't understand, were they rotating them within a series, or was it like
was it every series?
One series and then Cornelius the other? Do we know? Because that would take away at least what you said, Tyvis, about, well, you're bringing in one guy for the run and the other guy for the pass.
I think it was more series by series than play-by-play. Because if it was just passing, I mean, they got 14-9 in terms of the
I didn't notice it during the game. Did any of you guys notice it during the game?
I knew that they was, because I think Nathan said it when we did injury reports, but it wasn't something that I paid attention to, because I knew, I mean, it's irrelevant. They was running the ball.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it by series, why couldn't you keep doing it? I mean, does it make it harder on Wyatt Teller playing right guard?
100%.
Yes.
So then why did they do it?
Because they was running the ball.
I know, but they still threw it sometimes. Why would you want to make it harder on your offensive line?
How is Miami's pass rush?
Not good.
Not good.
That's your answer.
Where's New England in terms of pass rush?
What metric do you want? Just overall sacks? Do you want pressure rate?
I don't know, pressure rate.
Give me 1 sec.
Whatever. There's so many
So
nerd stats now. I don't know what's the best one, but I appreciate a good nerd stat.
Was Bradley Chubb out there?
He was. He didn't do much.
In terms of pressure rate, Bull,
Yeah.
Patriots are slightly above middle of the pack. They're 14th, 19.5% pressure rate.
Where is Miami?
Miami, in terms of pressure rate, is I can't count in my head.
Boom, 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 boom,
boom.
Just count up from the bottom.
Yeah, they're 23rd.
Not the worst, but I mean, listen, it's kind of depressing that this is part of the conversation that we're discussing rotating right tackles.
But it worked. To their credit, I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was arguably the best the offensive line, and I understand the conditions play a big role in that.
Yeah.
They give up 16 quarterback hits against
Pittsburgh,
and they have 3 against Miami. And granted, they threw the ball way less, so I know
Mike,
there's
so
context
many
there,
qualifiers here.
I'm just saying
It's
it wasn't
terrible
like a
weather,
disaster.
which benefits the offense, correct?
Yes.
It's a terrible team. It's at home. It's not throwing the ball. Like all these things, you can't just say, well, it worked. But even though there's like 5 different things we can point to as the part of the
I'm not
process.
saying this is the long-term solution. And I agree with Tyvis and Dustin in saying it worked against Miami, it's not going to work. But I do think it's worth at least mentioning that Kevin Stefanski did something completely unconventional. And for that one game, it worked. Now, we may come back next Tuesday and say they rotated right tackles against New England and got obliterated. We never want to see that again, like Tyvis alluded to, and we'll have that same exact discussion. But we can only go off the one game we saw. And in the one game we saw, it was the best version of Leviston we've seen, unquestioned. And I mean, probably the best version of Cornelius Lucas.
It's still a clown show that you're having
Was
to rotate
was Leviston at right tackle? He didn't start against Pittsburgh, did he? Because
I don't even remember now.
No. Pittsburgh, Conklin played, and Leviston was at left tackle because Cam Robinson they had traded for midweek.
No, that was
Miami.
That was
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
No, Cam Robinson started at left tackle, and
Jack
Conklin started at right.
And then he got hurt.
Leviston, I assume, or Lucas came in for Conklin when he got hurt for the 86.
So Leviston didn't play like that against Pittsburgh?
I can look at the snap
He
count.
probably came in at some point because Conklin got hurt. I mean, maybe the Browns should give Conklin another big contract extension to be hurt again.
Maybe he's a better right tackle because the left tackle thing.
I mean, he sucks. They all suck. They
don't
have. There's no better. Every tackle on this roster stinks except for Conklin, who can't stay healthy.
Do other teams have the same problem finding guys on their line? Because
I mean, the Bengals have had a bad offensive line.
There was a time where the Browns had a really good offensive line.
A lot of years.
But it's been, and really since Joe was retired.
It's because they keep missing.
This was a healthy scratch.
Since Joe retired, they have missed on every lineman that they drafted. Jed.
Right.
DeJuan, you have to count as
DeJuan,
a miss, unfortunately.
Luke hasn't been really in the rotation in Zinter.
Yeah.
Nick Harris.
Wasn't there a Hubbard guy here?
James Hudson.
Who was the guy from Florida State we drafted in the first round?
Well, he was
Irvin?
Yeah, that was a while ago too.
Oh yeah, that was.
Wasn't he with Joe though? Wasn't he?
Was he with Joe?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'm just
trying.
It all runs together. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, their offensive line in 23 when they made the playoffs was
decent.
Better.
It was solid, yeah. That was the best year.
Well, they were healthy too.
They were younger and they were healthy.
No, 23 they weren't healthy. They had 2. They was on their 4th and 3rd string tackles.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you thinking about 20 when they made the playoffs?
Well, the offensive line was good then, but even in 23 with the injuries to the tackles, the offensive line was still decent.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Pochich had his best year and the guards were still in their prime. Now your guards have passed their prime. They're just okay at best. Pochich is not that good anymore, and your tackles are terrible. So the fact that you're not as good, we still talk about the middle of their offensive line as as if it's very good. It's not.
I also think that because we don't have a legitimate quarterback and we don't have legitimate weapons on the outside, it makes everything
the evaluation of
a glaring weakness.
Yes. Everything on offense trying to evaluate is just difficult.
I do think that Judkins, if he continues to play like this, it's going to make the offensive line not seem like it's that big of a weakness.
Right, because he's making them better.
Yes.
Well, I told you Nick Chubb did that years ago.
Yes.
But nobody they didn't want to hear me when I said that. But what week are we in? This is 8, right? The trade deadline is when? Next week?
It's coming up, isn't it?
It's in early November. I don't know exactly when.
I believe it's right after the bye. I'll double check, but I believe it's right after the bye for the Browns.
So if they're making some trades on the line, like this, so this game technically is if the Browns
November 4th.
No, I'm saying like sending veterans away.
Oh,
because it was that report came out that they was about to do a fire sale. So like I would imagine if they lose to the Patriots,
we could see that. I don't think Batonio's going anywhere. I mean, could Wyatt Teller or Pochich be traded? I guess. I mean, you're going to get
Njoku's the most likely to get dealt.
Yeah, I mean he's gone at the end of the year. So
November 4th.
When's the deadline?
November 4th, so right after the bye. So this is their last game before the deadline, and then they have an entire week to evaluate with the bye.
Yeah, we've seen more trades in recent years. It's the only thing that baseball and basketball have an advantage over the NFL. They have a more exciting trade deadline, and so the NFL is trying. It's like the one thing they can't beat those sports in. So last year was an interesting. I want to say there were like 14 trades in the 24 hours before the deadline, which is a lot last year.
Speaking of trades, this guy wasn't traded, but I thought about, a guy I want to see more of, that Corley guy, Malachi Corley.
We were talking about him this morning. His third-round pick of the Jets last year. They cut him after one season as a third-round pick.
I mean, it's not like we got freaking Randy Moss on the outside, so he had a nice little screenplay. I want to see more. Let's see.
Yeah.
I want to know, I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I'm going to take it another step. If you cut every wide receiver, let's say secretly, Browns didn't announce this, but they secretly cut every wide receiver besides Jerry Jeudy and replaced them with guys off the street, would we know a difference?
Yes. That's too disrespectful. Yes. Yes, you would.
Even with, what's his name? The 6th-round pick from last year?
Jamari Thrash.
He's so terrible.
Jamari Thrash?
Yeah.
6th-round pick.
I think he was he a 6th or 5th? It might have been 5th.
I don't remember now.
So what's the difference?
That's another position.
Actually, it's about 20,000.
That's another position that the Browns have had no hits in the draft.